Hi, this is Megan from Bath Garden Center. Today's video is going to be about making your own annual container. There are a lot of pretty ones out there. We've got a lot of selections over here, but if you want to pick out your own plants, your own colors, you have your own kind of thing that you are envisioning, you can definitely do that at home and just make your own annual container. What I have here is just a nice little plastic pot. First thing you're going to want to do, make sure it has drainage, because your annual plants are going to need to be watered pretty frequently and you don't want them sitting in water for a long period of time. This one does not have a drainage hole, so what you want to do is just drill a hole, poke a hole somehow through the bottom so that it can drain really well. As far as depth goes for your containers, there's a lot of different sized pots and sized containers, like skinny ones that are really tall and have a lot of space to fill in the middle. If you don't want it to be super heavy, or if you don't want to use that much soil, you can definitely use styrofoam to kind of fill up the space at the bottom of your pot and then put soil on top of it so the whole thing isn't just full of soil and it's not super heavy. So for picking out plants, you're going to want to make sure you know your lighting requirements, what kind of environment your plant is going to be in. We have plants that are going to be really great in direct sun, or plants that are going to die in direct sun. So be sure you're looking at your little instruction description about your plant to kind of see where it falls for the lighting that it's going to need. I picked out these plants. They do really well in sun. I don't want to put them in any direct sunlight because that's not what I have at my house, but I have bright indirect light, so this would be great options for that. We've got some alyssum that grow well in sunlight and in partial shade. We've got marigolds, we've got sweet potato vines, and what I'm looking for are different kinds of height levels, because that really brings your pot together and makes it look more intriguing. So I wanted to find something that'll kind of trail more, something that would give it height, and something that's kind of low growing so that it's just got all these different kinds of textures going on with itself. So I'm just going to start scooping this in here. Having a deep container as well for annual plants is a good thing. They like to have that kind of space, especially when you're planting multiple plants together. They're gonna all be trying to take the water, and so you really need to keep up with your watering and make sure that you have just the appropriate environment and requirements that you're gonna need. So I do want to start with the taller plant. Usually these go in the middle of the pot, so it's easier to work from the center out. So I'm just going to take the cell. You can kind of rustle up the root system if it seems pretty bound, but you really don't want to break it up too much or really break any of those roots, so be careful with that. I have my pot filled up about this deep just so that I can kind of pack more soil and tuck them in after I'm done potting them up. So make a little hole and then just kind of pat over, and it's not really going to be completely potted into the soil at this point, just because you still have a lot of more space to fill up with your potting soil. So this is going to be the finished product. I just kind of started sticking a lot of the plants throughout the little nooks and crannies of the pot. I really want to try to fill those up and make sure I don't see very much soil. I want it to be a nice full pot. So I just kind of tuck these all in and then use your fingers to kind of poke it into the soil. You don't want to make it too condensed, but you do want to keep them nice and controlled in a spot. So that's what I did to kind of finish up this guy. So don't forget to be fertilizing your plants throughout the summer as well as the spring right now. Follow the instructions on your different types of fertilizers. If you have just more of these foliage kind of plants, the sweet potato vine, the spike grass, you can get away with a foliage fertilizer. If you have more things with like flowers, or if you have pots with flowers and foliage, you want to go with more of a blooming fertilizer to promote more blooming throughout the whole season. And it's still going to be a good fertilizer for these plants. Obviously it won't promote blooming necessarily in all of them, but it's still going to be a good fertilizer for your annual plants. Your plants won't die if you don't fertilize them. A lot of people don't want to do that. However, it does promote the blooming, like I was saying, throughout the whole season. So if you want to see those powerful blooms throughout your whole summer, really give it a blooming fertilizer. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please let us know.